What if the pain you're feeling right now isn't the end, but the beginning of the man you were always meant to become? She's gone. The messages have stopped. The warmth, the touch, the plans. You're replaying them all like a loop you can't shut off. You stare at your phone, hoping for a notification that never comes. You wonder if she thinks about you, if she misses you, if there's even a crack in her silence. And deep down, the question you're really asking isn't, why did she leave? It's, what do I do now that she's gone? But let me ask you something that hits deeper. Who are you when there's nothing left to lean on? When the illusion of love fades and all you're left with is the raw truth of who you are without her, what do you become? This is the moment, not for tears, not for begging, not for drowning in memories. This is the moment where you stop reacting and start transforming. This is where you realize that no one's coming to save you. Not her, not anyone. You save yourself. That's the essence of Stoicism. It doesn't numb your heart. It sharpens your mind. It trains you to control what you can and release what you can't, to let go without losing yourself, to feel everything but be owned by nothing. See, the world doesn't stop when she leaves, but a part of you does, and that part needed to die. The version of you that was too soft, too available, too addicted to her presence. He doesn't survive this, and that's exactly how it should be. From this point forward, every breath, every rep, every dollar you make, every boundary you enforce becomes a message, not to her, to yourself, that you are not a man undone. You are a man becoming. This isn't about making her regret it. That's a byproduct. This is about becoming someone you never regret being. Stoic, focused, dangerous in your discipline, cold in your calm, unreachable because your value no longer chases anyone. If you're done drowning in memories and ready to rise from the ashes, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I rise in silence. Now, let's begin. Number 1, stop asking why she left. Stop replaying it. Stop analyzing every word she said, every look, every shift in tone. You're trying to reverse engineer a moment that's already over. You think that if you just figure out the exact reason she walked away, you'll finally feel peace. But let me give it to you straight. Peace doesn't come from understanding her. It comes from letting go of the need to. You're not going to get a satisfying answer. Maybe she changed. Maybe she got bored. Maybe she never truly loved you in the way you thought. Or maybe she did, and still left anyway. The truth is, her reasons don't change a damn thing about where you are now. What changes everything is what you do next. Every second you spend dissecting her choice is time you're not spending evolving. You're letting her decision control your direction. You're letting the ghost of her memory become the architect of your self-worth. That's not power. That's emotional enslavement. You want to know what a Stoic man does? He doesn't beg the past to make sense. He accepts reality fully, coldly, and once he does, he detaches. That doesn't mean you don't feel anything. It means your actions are no longer governed by that feeling. You stop asking why and start asking what now. This is the beginning of emotional sovereignty. The moment you stop trying to read between the lines of a goodbye and start writing your own future, one where your identity isn't tied to anyone's ability to stay. You don't need her explanation. You don't need her closure. You need to reclaim your time, your mind, your power. If you're done letting questions paralyze you, comment below. Her exit is my entrance to power. Number 2, pain is the catalyst, not the curse. It hurts. No point pretending it doesn't. You wake up and feel that tightness in your chest before you even remember why. Then it hits you. She's gone, and that ache sinks in like a weight you can't shake off. But here's the shift you need to make. Pain isn't your punishment. It's your potential. Most men collapse under it. They numb it, distract themselves, chase temporary highs to avoid sitting in the fire. But the fire is exactly where you need to be. Why? Because pain is raw energy, and energy, when focused, becomes fuel. That agony you feel right now, it's power if you stop trying to escape it and start using it. Your heartbreak is not the end of your story. It's the break in the narrative where everything changes, if you let it. The gym becomes therapy. The silence becomes training. The loneliness becomes your laboratory. Every second you spend in that pain, owning it, facing it, and refusing to run, that's the part of you she'll never know. The version of you being built in the shadows, stronger, sharper, more dangerous than before. See? The pain isn't here to destroy you. It's here to expose you, to strip away every weak part of your identity that was clinging to her. What's left when the comfort is gone? What's left when you've got nothing but yourself? That's where the man is born. She thought she broke you. Good. Let her believe that. While she's out there forgetting you, you're in here forging yourself. Turn that pain into purpose. Turn that ache into armor, because once you do, she's not just gone, she's irrelevant. If you're done resenting the pain and ready to use it, comment below. My pain builds the man she never saw coming. Number 3. Your emotions are not your master. You miss her. One minute you're fine, the next you're drowning in memories. The playlist hits different. The places feel colder, and your mind keeps slipping back to what was. That's normal. But here's what separates the broken from the unbreakable. What you feel doesn't decide what you do. Your emotions are signals, not orders. They can inform you, but they should never control you. And right now, your mind is in a war between impulse and discipline. One voice is telling you to text her, check her profile, stalk her stories, see if she's moved on. That voice wants validation. It wants comfort, but it doesn't care about your growth. The other voice is quiet, stoic, calculated. It tells you to sit with the discomfort and not act on it, to breathe, to observe, to choose strength over surrender. That's the voice you need to start listening to, because that's where the power is. She might have left, but don't let her leave with your dignity too. Every emotional reaction that puts her back at the center of your universe only proves you've handed her the keys to your mind. And once someone knows they can control your emotions, they control you. So learn this now. Mastery doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't fold. The man who can feel heartbreak and still move with discipline, that's the one nobody forgets. That's the one who becomes untouchable, because while others are slaves to their moods, you're ruled by your mission. You don't suppress your emotions. You outgrow their control. You sharpen them into focus. That's what Stoicism is. And that's what makes her leaving the trigger. Not for your collapse, but for your composure. If you're done letting emotions lead you into weakness, comment below. I feel deeply, but I move wisely. Number 4, cut her off completely. Stop checking. Stop wondering. Stop waiting for her to reach out. Stop leaving the door open. If she walked away, lock it behind her. Not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Because every time you peek at her profile, every time you scroll through old photos or reread old messages, you're not reminiscing, you're reopening the wound. You think you're being patient. You think maybe she just needs space. Maybe if you wait long enough, she'll come around. That's the lie keeping you stuck. You're not waiting for her. You're avoiding the work it takes to move on. You're hoping she comes back so you don't have to rebuild from scratch. But that's not power. That's dependency dressed up as loyalty. Let me make it clear, healing and holding on cannot exist in the same space. You can't become who you're meant to be while keeping a back door open to the past. You're not going to become stoic while feeding the very attachment that broke you. Cutting her off completely isn't cruelty, it's clarity. It sends one message, to her and to yourself. I do not chase what chooses to leave. No contact, no checking in, no watching from the sidelines. You don't need updates. You need distance. You need silence. You need separation so complete that your nervous system finally understands she's gone, and that's okay. And if she ever does try to come back, she won't be returning to the man who waited. She'll be facing the man who evolved, the one who didn't flinch, the one who got quiet, got focused, and got dangerous. If you're done keeping a ghost alive, comment below. Disconnection is my closure. Number 5. Let the silence speak. Don't explain. Don't justify. Don't send her just one last message. Don't tell her how much you've changed. Don't try to make her see your worth. Because here's the truth. When you go silent, you shift the power. You think you need words to prove something. But silence is the message. It's louder than begging, louder than guilt-tripping, louder than any emotional confession. When she walks away and you say nothing, that silence hits her in the places your words never could. It makes her wonder. It makes her question. Not just your feelings, but your value. Because real value doesn't chase. Real strength doesn't explain itself. She expected you to reach out, to fall apart, to show her she still holds that control over you. When you don't, that's the moment the dynamic flips. She left thinking she had the upper hand, but silence shows her she might have miscalculated. And maybe she won't come back. That's not the point. The point is, you didn't break. You didn't plead. You didn't lower yourself to prove what she didn't care to see. You let your absence speak, and your absence says everything. That's the Stoic way. Detachment isn't loud. It doesn't post quotes and cry for attention. It simply pulls back and gets to work. The man who chooses silence isn't avoiding the pain. He's using it, silently building, silently leveling up, until the only version of you she can access is a memory. And even that starts to fade. If you're done speaking to someone who already made their decision, comment below. My silence speaks louder than my pain. Number 6. Build the man. She thought you'd never become. She thought you'd fall apart, that you'd spiral, that you'd spend months stuck in regret, chasing what's gone, and maybe you did, for a while. But now you use every ounce of that pain as fuel, not to prove her wrong, but to prove to yourself who you really are when everything collapses. This is the turning point. The part of the story where the victim dies and the weapon is born, not in public, not in posts, in silence, in discipline, in darkness. You hit the gym, not to impress her, but to build a body that reflects your new mindset, focused, forged, dangerous. You start stacking wins, money, health, focus. Your life stops being reactive and starts becoming intentional. You stop posting your pain and start posting your progress, if you even post at all, because now you're not trying to be seen. You're working so one day they can't ignore you. Everything she thought you'd never do. That becomes your blueprint, not to chase her, but to replace every weakness she exposed with an unstoppable version of you. It's about evolution. She left expecting the same man she walked away from to stay exactly where he was. That man is dead. And the one rising now, he doesn't want her back. He wants everything she distracted him from. So don't rebuild for her. Rebuild because you were meant to be this man the whole time. Her leaving was the blessing in disguise, the trigger that woke up the version of you she never deserved in the first place. If you're done playing small and ready to reinvent everything, comment below. I became who I was meant to be when she left. Number 7. Cold, calm, collected. You don't yell. You don't argue. You don't post passive-aggressive stories or send late-night texts. You don't chase. You don't react. You observe. That's what makes you dangerous now. You've stepped into a level of control most people will never touch. Cold, calm, collected. Not cold as in bitter, cold as in clear, focused, unattached. You've learned that emotions are like storms, loud, intense, but temporary. And you've become the mountain they crash against, unmoving. You still feel, but you've separated what you feel from what you do. No woman, no heartbreak, no situation gets to dictate your actions anymore. This is what Stoicism looks like in its purest form. You own your presence. You carry that calm into every room. No desperation, no need to be understood, no craving for validation. The same silence that once felt heavy now becomes your power. You walk away with peace, not to manipulate, not to make her miss you, but because chaos no longer has a place in your life. The man who controls his reactions controls the outcome, and the truth is, she won't remember the emotional texts. She won't remember your pain. She'll remember your calm, your stillness, the way you vanished into progress without a sound. This version of you isn't emotionally unavailable. He's emotionally undefeated, because he doesn't let the world pull him in every direction. He moves with intention. And when a man moves like that, everything starts to orbit around him. If you're done being emotionally predictable and ready to become untouchable, comment below. Stillness is my superpower. Number 8. Make her memory compete with your reality. Right now, she remembers the version of you that was soft, available, emotional, predictable, the version that tolerated more than he should have because he cared too much. That's the version she walked away from. But here's the move. You don't try to erase that memory. You force it to compete, because as you evolve, your life becomes a mirror she can't look into without seeing what she lost. You don't need to flex. You exist. You operate at a level now that makes who you used to be feel like a completely different person. The new body, the sharp mindset, the mission, the glow-up she never thought you had in you. That's what she starts to feel, not your absence, but the weight of your evolution. And that's the shift. She doesn't just wonder why you haven't reached out. She starts to wonder if she ever really knew you at all, if she underestimated what you were capable of. She remembers what she had, and now she sees what she'll never touch again, because your reality becomes so undeniable, so elevated, so unreachable, that her memory of you starts to feel outdated. This is what happens when you stop fighting to be remembered and start becoming unforgettable, when you stop proving and start producing, when you stop looking back and build something so real, so solid, so powerful, that no fantasy of the past can compete with what you're becoming now. If you're done being haunted by her memory and ready to become the man she'll never forget, comment below. I outgrew the version of me she knew. Number 9. Love her? Cool. Need her? Nope. Let's make something clear. You can love someone and still outgrow the need for them. There's power in that. You're not pretending she didn't mean anything. You're not forcing yourself to feel nothing. You're just not enslaved by those feelings anymore. That's the difference between heartbreak and growth. Heartbreak says, I can't live without her. Growth says, I'm choosing to live better without her. See, love is real, but so is self-respect. And when the two come into conflict, self-respect always wins. That's where most men get stuck. They confuse love with dependency. They think if the emotions are still there, they must go back. But that's not strength. That's fear. Fear of being alone, fear of letting go, fear of facing the unknown. You can miss her and still move on. You can care and still cut the cord. Why? Because needing someone is the fastest way to lose yourself. Love doesn't mean sacrificing your boundaries. It doesn't mean betraying your standards just to keep someone close. If she's gone and you're still standing, still growing, still pushing forward, you just proved something. You never needed her. You just thought you did. And now, you don't even need closure. You don't need another chance. You don't need her validation. You've found something stronger, yourself. And that version of you doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't break. He might have loved her, but he never needed her to become who he is now. If you're done confusing attachment with love, comment below. I release need. I choose strength. Number 10. She was a lesson. You are the legacy. She came into your life for a reason, but she wasn't the destination. She was the detour, the wake-up call, the flame that burned through your comfort and forced you to confront yourself. And now she's part of your past. But you're the future. She was the lesson. You are the legacy. Stop trying to rewrite the story. Don't wish she stayed. Don't fantasize about how it could have gone. It didn't. And that's exactly how it needed to be. Because without that pain, without that shift, without that silence, you wouldn't have become this version of you. The one that's focused, hardened, clear, driven, the one that doesn't chase, doesn't flinch, doesn't beg for closure or validation. The man who learned that everything he thought he lost was actually the beginning of what he was meant to build. You were never supposed to stay the man she left. That version of you had limits. He thought love meant losing yourself. He thought pain was the end. But you know better now. You know that every scar is a signature, every loss is leverage, every ending is a rebirth. She'll be a story you tell, quietly. But your life? That becomes the proof that even when it felt like everything fell apart, you rebuilt better, stronger, colder, wiser, and while she fades, you rise. This isn't about proving her wrong anymore, it's about proving yourself right. You are not what she left behind. You are what she could never break. If you're done holding on to the past and ready to become the story she tells with regret, comment below, "She was the trigger. I became the transformation." She left. And for a while, it felt like everything stopped. But now you see it. That was the spark, the collapse that forced you to level up. You stopped chasing answers. You stopped begging the past to make sense. You faced the pain, mastered your emotions, cut her off, and let your silence speak louder than anything you could have said. You started building, quietly, ruthlessly, not to win her back, but to become someone no one could ever take down again. You stopped needing her. You stopped waiting. You stopped bleeding over someone who walked away like your heart was disposable. And now you walk different. You think different. You move like a man with nothing to prove and everything to become. You understand that she was never the prize. You are, because you didn't just survive the heartbreak. You used it as fuel. You made it part of your story, not the part that broke you, the part that built you. Let them walk, let them doubt, let them forget. While they're busy looking back at who you were, you're already 5 steps into becoming who they'll never reach again. This is Stoicism. This is detachment with purpose, discipline without emotion, power without noise. And this is your moment. Not to win her back, but to never need her again.